Hello, I'm Christina Baldwin.
And I'm Ann Linnea.
And we are the co-founders of the PeerSpirit Circle methodology.
And just to put that in a larger frame, there is a lot of work being done now across the world around hosting meaningful conversations, and the circle is the taproot, the base of all of those conversations that are about rotating responsibility and shared leadership.
What follows is a segment of a recent circle meeting with a group of our friends. The reason we gathered was to share a conversation about the question, what next after the election of Barack Obama? We are all skilled users of PeerSpirit Circle. The agreements we are honoring are, to the best of our ability, we will listen to one another with curiosity and compassion. We agree to ask for what we need and offer what we can. From time to time, we'll pause to regather our thoughts. We have waived the confidentiality agreement for the purposes of creating this teaching video. In the conversation here, some of the primary components of circle structure are modeled. In a PeerSpirit circle, there is always a center, a place that symbolizes the group's highest intention for being together. The host of our circle calls us together with a simple start point, an inspirational poem or reading.
To begin this circle, I'd like to read just a short quote from Barack Obama's acceptance speech. "I know you didn't do this just to win an election, and I know you didn't do it for me. For even as we celebrate tonight, we know the challenges tomorrow will bring are the greatest of our lifetime." So I place Barack Obama's words into the center of the circle. And we'll do a brief check-in. And in this check-in, let's just share just a snippet about how you personally connected to the election process. So whoever feels ready to begin can just start, and then we will just go around the circle.
The group is using a talking piece. Whoever is holding the talking piece is speaking. Everyone else is listening.
When I read Audacity of Hope 4 years ago, I really started holding intention for the election of this man as President of the United States. And in conversations with friends, family, neighbors, especially in the last 6 months, it has been a very strong intention of mine to bring forth dialogue between people of like mind and not like mind, and to raise up the larger questions of this election.
I was so captivated by the way he was articulate and just the energy behind his words. And it took me back to the 1960s as a young girl when I had the opportunity to sit at the podium when Bobby Kennedy spoke at the university I was attending at the time. And there was an energy to Obama that kind of reactivated that part of myself that remembered what it really feels like to be hopeful.
My father's a 3-war vet, and McCain was in his squadron in the military. And I experienced my father so vehemently, adamantly, passionately for Barack Obama that for 2 months I could not get the TV turned off of MSNBC, and I got the full tutorial of why this man should be the president. And we're talking red state. You know where my people are from. And my father stood tall and long for this man. So my involvement was the sheer pleasure of being in the room with a transformation in my family.
Having finished a check-in, our host will invite a response to the question that has been posed in calling this circle. Sometimes we converse about the main question in a more casual back and forth way, always remembering to honor our circle agreements. In this particular circle, the group has chosen to have the main conversation using the talking piece so they can really hear one another's full thoughts and feelings on the subject.
The question to go into the center of the circle right now is, as Americans, what do we do next?
One of the things I hope to get involved in, and I don't know how I will do this yet, is in voter reform. Laws, regulations, whatever it is. We make it so very difficult for people to vote in this country, and the way our system is set up, there is so much room for something to go wrong.
A family that shows the diversity of the vote just standing in the family. And to me, that's incredibly hopeful because it's bridging. So what I want to do next is to continue to find many ways to bridge and to shed my own assumptions that those people don't want to talk to me, and to really practice as a chant inside myself, there is no they, there is no them. That I think that's what President Obama calls us to.
My activism got reactivated after so many years of it really being asleep and actually kind of cowering over in the corner because I was almost frozen with fear of what's going to be or not going to be for my grandchildren. I mean, that they have been my driving force really through this last election. So wanting to, help make that change come about. And then the other piece for me that is the hardest is the conversation with my family. This is the elephant in the closet or in the living room or wherever. I mean, he's just tromping around. And we have so many elephants we have herds, And they're just gone. This one has to be addressed. We've got to have the conversation.
I just want to put in the center of the circle to my intention always to remember that there is so much more that joins us than separates us.
In PeerSpirit circling, the guardian always rings the bell twice. The first time to pause the action, which calls people to attention and reflection. After the second ring, the guardian, or whoever called for the guardian's bell, speaks why the bell has been rung, perhaps for emphasis, perhaps to call a switch from talking piece to conversation council, perhaps simply to call for a stretch break. The bell is another voice in the circle.